with Chrissy Morris. I hope everyone's well. Thank you for joining me if you're here. And if you're not, I'll give you a few minutes. This is going to be a regular thing. I will be doing this whenever we've got enough content to talk about. The idea will be that any topical issue in the press, anything anyone wants to talk about, they get the opportunity to speak to me, air their opinions, and generally just talk about stuff. You have to excuse me swiping the screen to get rid of stuff and whatever. I've got a hotline phone number. The number is, let's see if I can remember it, 0758 777 1617. And the idea is that you ring that number, which I've got here, or you can text it if you don't want to speak, and you come on, you can say your bit. Hopefully you can be polite and not too rude. So the number again, if anyone wants to ring in and ask a question or bring up a topic, is 0758 777 1617. Can't wait for your calls. I'm not going to read the chats out because the chats often get a little bit hectic. I've also been receiving texts on the phone number that I've just given out. So hopefully, well, I've got quite a few texts to read out. I'll pick out some of the better ones for now. But if you have got a question, if you'd like to bring up a topic, please call 0758 777 1617. So we're waiting for anyone to call. So please be nice, please be polite, no swearing, no hate. This is free speech, but free speech isn't hate speech. So if I have to cut you off, I'm sorry, you're getting that red button. Some of the questions that have already been asked are obviously the biggest ones right now are concerning the meeting that was held on the 4th of November, I think it was, on the Thursday night, which was a meeting of full council. Famously, point of order. The amount of people that have ridiculously shouted point of order at me as I'm walking down the street and stuff has been quite amusing. Getting a little bit sick of it now. But the meeting was a combination of 2 years of sharp working practices and general corruption at my local council, which hasn't been addressed, and that the council have tried to ignore. It's quite well documented. Anyone that's been watching me over the last 2 years will be able to say that. Someone, please give me a phone call. 0758 777 1617. I'm waiting for your call. Some of the texts, one of the, obviously I've had quite a few texts, and one of the big questions is, what was your point of order? Now, sadly, folks, that is going to have to remain a secret. Quite a few people should have been able to work it out by now, but sadly, I don't think the people that I was asking the question to have. And because of that, oh, we already have one caller. So let's see who this caller is. Oh, they've rung off. As soon as I answer the phone, they've rung off. Ring me 0758 777 1617. Another call. Here we go. Hello.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I recognise that voice. Who is that, please?
I'm here in a private capacity. I'd just like to let you know. In a private capacity, sir.
A private capacity, of course. I'm also here in a private capacity, if anyone
Are
wondered.
you here, sir, in a private capacity?
I am here in a private capacity, I can assure you. What would...
I'd like to know, I heard it was your birthday yesterday, sir.
Oh, no. It was my birthday on Wednesday, and I was 28 again. 28 is the age, once you minus my mental age and my physical age, that's around the sort of age you'll get. So what topic have you got for us? What question or topic have you got for us?
Well, I've got a question. I'd like to have a question. I do have a very deep question, if you can answer it. Yeah?
Yeah, I'll try.
Who's going to be the next leader of the Malden District Council?
The current leader of Malden District Council, which is a very good guy called Richard Siddle. He is one of the few people that should lead that council. He is one of the few people that is capable of leading that council. and currently I support him. He is one of the best councillors there, and I'm hoping that he can pull everything together. I just worry that he might not be able to bridge the gaps that have appeared, because we've got far too many people that want to see me ruined and him fail, and that is purely for political reasons. They put themselves in front of the community. So
Mr. Richard Perry, can't we forefront him?
the very ugly Mr. Richard Perry is probably too ugly for that role. I'm hoping that Mr. Perry gets elected to the district next year. Sorry, not next year, the year after. No, is it next year? I think it is next year. Yeah. Well, whenever the next election is, I hope that Richard Perry does make it onto Malden District Council. He is head and shoulders above the current chairman. The current chairman is oh, he's got to be elected onto the district council first, and that's the first thing to do before we start talking about anyone getting onto, getting into a role. They've got to get elected into the council. So Richard Siddle is the current leader, and Richard Siddle is a good man. He is intelligent and imaginative, and has showed integrity. I just hope that he is allowed to, use those assets to take Malden District Council forward. But currently, I support him being the leader. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you later. That was an unusual call in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. So there's our first call. I think I know who that guy was. The simple fact is that the leader of Malden District Council is a little bit of a poison chalice, and I really commend the new leader, which is Richard Siddle, for taking it on, because there's not many that would have wanted it right now because of the current controversy. But good on the man, because he's one of the few. He's one of only two people that could really have taken control. Whether or not he's going to be allowed to do what he should do and what he needs to do is another question, because there's far too many people out there that don't want any reconciliation between myself and Malden District Council. And what they really do need to do is realise that we need to come together. We do need to unify. And I just don't think that there's enough councillors with the motivation to do things correctly for the district, but hopefully I'm wrong. And I've got meetings next week to try and resolve all the issues. Hopefully they'll go well, and hopefully everything will resolve. So one of the questions I had this week, hang on, I'll read it out if you give me 2 seconds. A question for tonight's live: does Malden need a fourth Costa coffee? Now, Malden is a lovely little picturesque place in Essex. If you don't know, that's where the world famous salt comes from. It's a small, well, medium-sized town. The Malden district has just under 70,000 residents in it, and the main populace is Malden, which I believe is around 26 or 27,000. Excuse me if I don't know the figures, I've been up long. Malden has currently got 3 Costa coffees. Now, my main problem is that most people nowadays are, they don't say, shall we go for a coffee? They say, for instance, shall we go for a Costa? And that's a big problem for me, because I don't want every coffee place to be a Costa. I don't want them all to be uniform and run by these big corporations that don't put a lot back into the community. They do employ people, they do put some money back into the community, but my belief is that the independent coffee places, the independent businesses, they're the ones that put most money back into the community, and they make things a little bit different. And I don't want to go into every coffee shop and it be a Costa. I don't want to go into, I mean, people say, people used to say, should we go and get a cake or a sausage roll? Now they say, should we go and get a Greg's? I don't like that. I'd like independent places that put more money back into the community to thrive, and it makes everything a little bit different. So you're not eating the same donut no matter where you go in the world. I don't want people saying, "Oh, should we grab a burger?" and they say, "Should we grab a McDonald's?" I don't want people saying, "Shall we get a travel lodge?" I'd like people to say, let's get a hotel for the night." And it's getting that way. It's getting that every single place is being overtaken by the bigger corporations, which is, I think, detrimental to the communities, and also detrimental to the whole perception of choice that people have. It'd be nice to be able to go to an independent baker's or an independent hotel, an independent pub, stuff like that. I mean, people now in this town are saying, "Should we go for a Weathers?" Oh, mate, let's go for a pint. Let's make it at an independent place, somewhere that's got independent values and isn't just sort of like a corporate face. So thank you very much for that question. I'll move on to another one of the questions I've got. I'm just picking out a few here and there. I'm going to try and make them a little bit different so that people don't hear the same subject again and again. Um, mm, mm, mm. Hi, Chrissy. Can I ask, if I want to bring police accountable for theft, trespassing, and malfeasance, do you have any links to anyone who can help me? I have looked online, but hitting brick walls. Any advice or help would be appreciated. Without knowing the devil's always in the detail. Without knowing your exact complaint against the police and stuff like that, it might be that I can't give you the best advice, but the advice I can say on that one is, if you do believe that there is theft, trespassing, malfeasance, them sort of things, then obviously you need to take that up with what I'd say firstly is phone your local police force or the police force it concerns, and ask to speak to the professional standards. So if you ask to speak to the professional standards department, they'll put you onto someone with very good customer care skills, because they're hoping to stop your complaint before it even begins. So you'll get usually passed through to someone that seems very understanding, and you can give your complaint then. Obviously, try not to be fobbed off, because that's what they're hoping to do. They're hoping that they can, get rid of you with that first phone call, and hope, and tell you how they haven't got any resources and how all that shouldn't have happened. And yes, we can deal with this. And, it only needs a local resolution thing and stuff like that. Be a little bit more persistent with them. And your first port of call is the professional standards department of whatever force it concerns. And then I think they're called the IPCO. It's now, it used to be the Independent Police Complaints Commission, I believe, something like that. But now they've stuck an O in it somewhere, so they've tried to change it round. And from my own personal experience, they're not very independent at all. They're mainly made up of ex-police, and in a lot of cases, you can't self you can't self-refer. You've got to be referred by the force. So it's a bit like them investigating themselves, which isn't ever a good thing. Professional standards department of your local police station is a good place to start. Let's move on to another one. If there's anyone that feels like calling in, please call in, because this is killing me. I need to speak to people. It's a lot nicer to speak to people. What have we got now? No, that one's not worth reading. Quick question. I saw your video on YouTube calling a mixed-race American racist. Are you not friends with someone who is a member of the BNP? The short answer to that one is no, I'm not a friend of anyone that's a member of the BNP. I honestly aren't. I have never been a member of the BNP myself. I have never been a member of any political party whatsoever. I am an independent. If I had to pigeonhole myself, I'd put myself into probably I'd say I was centre left. So I'm definitely no right winger, even though a lot of the left wingers like to call me right winger, a right winger, and a lot of the right wingers like to call me a lefty. I'm not specifically either side, but I would say I'm more centre left than anything else. I've never been a member of any political party. Definitely not been a member of the BNP. I have known people that have been, members of all sorts of different political parties. I'm very good friends with people that are currently in the Conservative Party, also people that are in the Labour Party. So we've got another call coming in. Let's answer this one. Hello, you're live on YouTube.
Hello, Mr. Chrissy Morris.
How are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just popping on to ask you if you would like to discuss anything to do with YouTube wars, what you think about what goes on there.
Well, I mean, it does seem a little bit pointless because in the YouTube wars, it does seem that it's if you don't agree with that person's point of view, instantly you're calling them a paedophile and stuff like that. YouTube wars isn't really a topic that is worth discussing or that's current in the news currently. Have you got anything that's current in the news today? I'm just wondering, can I get your name, please?
Yeah, it's Chrissy Minx.
Oh, Chrissy Minx. How are you, Chrissy?
I am very well, thank you, Mr. Morris.
I thought I recognised your dulcet tones.
I thought I'd put on a voice for you, darling.
Yes, it was. It almost fooled me. It almost fooled me.
Did I?
Yeah.
I would call the bailiffs at any moment.
Thanks, Chrissy. You got any other questions at all, mate?
I don't. You're looking very well, and I hope you're doing all right for yourself.
Thank you ever so much. If I had a hand free, I'd give you a wipe the old finger across the eyebrow and
Absolutely. Straighten that tie. That's absolutely fine. But but don't blame me. Don't blame me.
I'm feeling ganged up on already, but in a very nice way. Thanks, Chrissy. Take care, mate.
All right. Good luck.
See you, babe.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, darling. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bless her. I knew the voice from somewhere. Let's go through some more. Let's just have a quick look. We've got 120 people on, which is nice. If there's anyone that would like to call in, the number is 0758 777 1617. So no, I do not know anyone that is a member of the BNP. I do not know any. I'm not a member of the BNP myself. I do know people that are members of various different parties. Oh, we have an unknown call. Let's see what the unknown call is. Good evening. You're live on YouTube. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Yeah, someone trying to play a little bit of music there, maybe. I'm expecting quite a few troll calls because trolling is quite a big thing to elected members and people that are just trying to make a difference on YouTube right now. So but I'll still take the calls. If I get any abusive ones, I'll just be putting down because this is a place to talk and it's not a place for hate and abuse and whatever else. Should we go through some more of the questions? Right, what else have we got right now? Oh, we have another call. Let's go for this one. Good evening, you're live on YouTube.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are we doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I'm good. What question have you got for me, please, sir?
First of all, how are you doing since that shocking video you uploaded recently?
What one, mate? There's been a few. Is it the one where they attacked me? Yeah, I'm fine, mate. I'm absolutely fine. Sadly, I'm pretty much used to it. Apart from a little chip tooth, everything's cool with me. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt or injured. Very unfortunate. Not a nice thing. Definitely not a nice thing. There was a lady that was quite affected by it. That I feel badder for than anyone else. But yeah, I'm pretty good, fella. I'm fine.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, obviously, he's admitted the offence. Funnily enough, I got the resolution thing through tomorrow. I'm not entirely happy with how the case has been dealt with because the
Yeah,
guy, he attacked me at the friend a residential address at my friend's home. My friend was also physically assaulted. Another lady was assaulted, not physically, but assaulted
yeah,
nonetheless. It wasn't nice, and
no,
if I had have if I'd have if I'd have gone to any other councillor's home in that sort of manner, I'd probably be remanded, and I wouldn't probably blame the old Bill for remanding me. It just does
yeah,
seem a little bit sort of like double standardy that
it
I can
does.
be the victim, but obviously, I'm getting no support from my council. I'm getting no support really from the police or anyone like that. And I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't actually need it, but
Yeah,
I know they would have gone absolutely overboard if it was me visiting another person's home for
oh yeah,
violence.
definitely,
So,
definitely.
yeah, what do you think of it, fella?
Well, I think it's totally unacceptable behaviour, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the way you're being treated just seems disgusting and unfair.
Yeah. It's because I'm trying to change things, and change is
Yeah,
always painful. And they've successfully tried to ignore everything for this long. I mean, I've shone a bit of a light on it for the last couple of years, but obviously that meeting going viral the way it did and getting the mainstream media to cover it, and even though they
yeah,
haven't covered it very well, you know,
no,
they've basically said that there was a disturbance. Now, the disturbance was actually another man driving for 30 minutes to come to another
yeah,
man's home to intimidate him and possibly assault him. We don't actually know, whether or not he intended to attack my friend, but my friend was attacked, and just because I coincidentally was there, I got attacked as
yeah,
well. And that seems to be totally skipped over by the mainstream media. They're happy to make it sound as if, like, me and the husband of the council leader, the then council leader, just had a dust
yeah,
up, which isn't actually true. I've got no nasty physical intentions towards any of my fellow councillors or the staff at
no,
MDC, and it just seems to be that they're intent on saying that I'm the aggressive one when I was actually the victim. But
yeah.
yeah. Got any other questions at all, Governor?
What's your view on what's going on with TV licensing?
Oh, mate. Well, this one we could do a whole phone in about this one, bro. It's disgusting. I mean, I deal with a lot of vulnerable people, and quite a few of them are elderly as well. And believe
Yeah,
it or not, I love old people because old people have got a lot of experience, and they've got a lot of pearls of wisdom. And
yeah,
I love asking older people, what is your best bit of advice you can give to anyone that's younger. Not that I'm very young anymore, but it's the amount of experience is a big thing. And
yeah,
yeah, the TV license. I mean, if you're an elderly person and you're on your own, that TV is probably your whole outside world, and
yeah,
it does keep people entertained, and it does keep people from being isolated. They feel more connected with the outside world if they've got a telly. And
yeah,
if you're in your elder years and you're still paying the TV license after all these years, that is disgusting. I really do think that the BBC need to get in step with the modern world, and come up with other ways other than forcing people to pay their license fee, because from what I know,
yeah,
most of the people that watch TV now aren't watching the BBC. People are switching off BBC in their droves. The
yeah,
news coverage that I'm seeing from the BBC is abysmal. I've got to say it,
yeah,
and there's a few BBC journalists out there that have had interviews off me recently that will probably be cringing at that, because they'll probably be told not to go near me anymore. But
yeah,
I'm not going to be untrue to myself, and untrue to the other people. I'm pretty disgusted with the BBC and their approach to the older generation and the license fee. And obviously, I'm not very happy with the way that they're covering a lot of the news articles, you know, saying that there's only 100,000 people in London when there's anywhere around a million, and not even covering some of the important issues. That really gets my goat. So I hope that answers your question, fella.
Yeah, say they're all about protecting the morally corrupt.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, when they get caught with their trousers down, they seem to come out squeaky clean at the other end.
Yeah, I mean, we've got too many people that you know, apathy is probably the worst problem we've got in society right now, and we've got a lot of people that probably are just disinterested in actually what's going on and what's actually affecting their lives. As long as they can get their dose of EastEnders or their dose of Coronation Street and stuff like that, and you know, that's one of the things that council that I've noticed, you know, that they are happy for the general public to not be involved. I mean, there's one guy at my council until recently, until he almost got booted out of the council for not being there for 6 months. He had a 0% attendance record. Now, yeah, I mean, you know, and no one seems to be bothered. Everyone seems to be happy with it. And the problem I've got is that if you're not even going to one meeting, in that amount of time, 0% attendance, obviously, you know, you're showing your intent. You've got no interest whatsoever. And
Representing when he's not
yeah, yeah. I mean, something that I did say when I got elected is, rightly or wrongly, I intend to make you know, council business a little bit more entertaining. And even though it's a serious subject, if we don't grab people in, people won't be getting involved. So, you know, and a little bit of controversy, maybe, you know, making it less formal, because I'll be honest with you, if you watch a you know, a Malden council meeting, you're going to be very bored in a very short space of time. We need to use more layman terms. We need to make it a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher, and a little bit more watchable and approachable. And that way we'll get people involved in local politics, and that's what we desperately need, because there's not enough people that want to get involved with local politics, and probably because they think it's boring, corrupt, and they're just completely disinterested and apathetic to it. And the quickest way to change things is to change them. It's not to you know, I hear a lot of people say that they want to you know, burn the house down, as it was. Well, don't burn your house down, you know, try and fix your house, because ultimately even a bad house is better than no house. So yeah, you know, get the roof changed, do the floorboards, put some new windows in, start decorating, make that house nicer. And burning it down so that you've got no house and then rebuilding a house is the long way around doing it. So, you know, hopefully we can get more people into the political system to help change it and make it more inclusive.
Yeah, definitely.
No worries. Anything else to say on that, fella? You phoned in. I want you to talk a bit.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll bring in the right people eventually, you know, instead of having the same old stale people that are in now that are causing all the problems.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, when I first got elected, there were a lot of the you know, loads of independents got elected, and I thought, and this still stands true. Mainly, I thought that, you know, an independent not having a party behind them would be more, would have more integrity, would have more bottle, and would be able, you know, to stand up for themselves a little bit. But sadly, you know, I've seen that quite a few of the independent councillors just haven't got the balls to say what's wrong, you know, and that really disappoints me. I mean, I thought that we just needed good independence. Well, now I'm aware that we need good independents that will actually stand their ground, that have got, you know, testicular fortitude and won't just go along with it. And when you look at the last meeting, the point of order meeting, as I refer to it, In that room were probably 2 centuries of experience. If you totted up all the years that those councillors have got and those staff have got and the qualifications they've got, not one of them actually knew what a point of order was. And I've only been there 2 years. I'm not the cleverest guy in the world. I'm not stupid, but I'm not clever. And before the meeting happened, I looked at the Constitution. I read the part about point of order, which I think is Article 4 brackets 14. If anyone wanted to use it, look at it, sorry, they can have a look. And basically, you call a point of order. The chairman stops the meeting and deals with the point of order forthwith. You don't have to shout a number at it, as they were saying. In the 2 years I've been there and the dozens of points of order that I've witnessed, I've never heard anyone shout a number, which is what other members were shouting at me. The other members should remain quiet. It's for the chairman to deal with. Now, I'm sort of guessing. I'm hoping that a lot of those councillors and staff in there, if not all of them, all of them really should, but definitely most of them should know that when a point of order is called, it's got to be dealt with, and there's no way around that. And their silence was, is basically making them complicit in, that travesty of justice. I mean, that is not the democratic way. I'm an elected member. If I call a point of order, it's got to be dealt with. They should know that, and if they don't know that, they shouldn't be in there. And if they haven't got the integrity and temerity to point that out, because I was really shocked that none of them went, "Excuse me, he's a member and he's called a point of order. Even if you don't like him, we've got to hear him." I've been elected, and too many of them probably thought, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved. I won't be, I'm not going to go against the establishment, as it was," which, it's their job to do as a publicly elected representative. They need to sort of shout when things are going wrong. And I very much doubt that any of them realized how big this would go. And if they'd have realized that they was going on to sort of national news, even international news. I mean, it got to Australia, America, New Zealand, France even run it, which surprised me, because I honestly didn't think a non-English speaking country would run that. But none of them said a word. They all sat there and they all let it happen. And they probably thought that, this won't go anywhere, no one. But now it is going places. And the next meeting, I'm having a couple of informal meetings with some good people at Malden District Council, because there are good people in that council. Don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic councillors and some fantastic officers. The trouble is they're just not vocal enough, and they're not listened to enough. And this will, obviously I think people can see from the amount of times that I called point of order and how I wouldn't let it drop, because when I'm right, I will not, I won't be backing down whatsoever. And if I'm wrong, I'll apologize, but you'll never hear me do an insincere apology. But I knew I wasn't wrong. I checked the rule book. The chairman should have heard it. He's got no discretion to not hear that the rules don't allow him to ignore me or long me off. It just he's got to hear it forthwith, and he didn't do that. He should resign. His ego got him, because he thought it was a battle between him and Chrissy Morris, when what he should have actually realized was it was actually just about the democratic process and the Constitution rules, which he has signed up to and should have followed, and that he didn't.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the meeting? Did you think I come across particularly badly, or?
No, it's like it made me angry actually watching it, to be honest. Because they're behaving like children in a sense.
Yeah. What I mean, the one that really got me was see, the thing is, right, when you, as a councillor, you actually get summonsed to appear at those meetings. You get a legal summons. Yeah, you are summonsed to appear at. So I was actually summonsed to appear there, and the police should never get involved in politics. They only get involved when a law is broken. Now, I suspected that they might try and do this. So I spoke to the top copper in this district and went through it with him, and he completely agreed. And I said, look, what it is, Steve, I can see them trying to get me arrested in that chamber. And if you send in two inexperienced PCs that follow the orders of the chairman, you will have a massive case on your hands. You know, it literally, I can't be removed from there unless I commit a crime. And breaching the peace by asking for a point of order is no crime. Now, I knew that, yeah, and the top brass at Essex Police and Malden also knew that. Now, them three coppers, they found three coppers to come into the chamber. They told them coppers that there was a disturbance in the chamber and that I had no right to be there. But I've been summoned there. I'm a democratically elected representative. They cannot remove me unless I committed a crime, which I didn't. And that's why there were no arrests. And at the end of the night, you know, I spoke to the coppers, and the coppers were quite apologetic about it. They told me that they'd been called in for a disturbance, and they also told me that if they'd have realised it was, you know, someone trying to remove a councillor from a council meeting, they would not have actually attended. You know, because I said to the coppers, I said, mate, if you ever get a call like that again, yeah, what my advice to you would be, because I've looked into the law and I'm no slouch when it comes to the law, you stand there, yeah, you know, out of sight as best you can, because you don't want to be seen to be an intimidating presence, and you watch for any breaches of a law. You know, if a crime is committed, that is what you're going to be there for. And no crime was committed. I didn't threaten anyone. I didn't swear at anyone. You know, I mean, you know, a lot is made of me apparently shouting. I don't even think. I mean, I might have raised my voice a couple of times, but shouting, I didn't. I wasn't. I was in control in the whole time. I knew what I could win on, and the simple point of order was that. So, you know, it's calling the police into a meeting to try and get rid of a democratically elected representative was a very low move by Malden District Council. And when you consider that the chairman and the vice chairman are both ex-police, they should know that too. I mean, I'm just Joe Bloggs off the street. I'm just an average guy on the street trying to do my best. And I looked into it. You know, I'm diligent. I do my homework. I knew they couldn't refuse. Well, I was certain they couldn't refuse a point of order. They did. And they also lied to the police, and they wasted the police's time. It's quite funny because about 3 weeks ago, or 3 weeks prior to that, I had a lady contact me that had been burgled, and she'd been burgled, like, you know, a few months previous, and she was yet to see a police officer. They've got no police to go around to an elderly woman's house, but they've got 3 coppers to try and get a democratically elected representative out of a meeting for nothing. You know, for trying to exercise his democratic rights, which, you know, it just it doesn't do the police any favors. It doesn't do the councils any favors. And, you know, it just sort of like reiterates that we're not being listened to by our councils. Our councils think they are above the law, and they just simply are not. It's just trying to make enough people aware of it and getting them on board. So, you know. Yeah. Any other questions for me at all, Governor?
Just another comment. It seems like whenever you're in the right and they know they're in the wrong, they're trying to shut the meetings down.
Yeah. See, you know, the problem I've got is that the lack of, you know, I thought as a politician there'd be a lot more debate about stuff, and there just is none whatsoever. They send out a report and they pretty much demand that you just vote for it, and that's because the officers certainly in Malden District Council, and I believe in a lot of other councils and sort of government organisations, and probably even in central government, it's not the politicians running it. They're the puppets. Behind the puppets, you've got the puppeteers, which are the big financiers. You know, you've got some big people behind the politicians that give them a lot of their policy and whatever else. They work for the corporations, the banks, the financial institutions. And sadly, we've got to realize that we're not voting in the right people, and that there is an illusion of choice. Because I'm centre left, mate. As I said earlier, I won't be voting for Keir Starmer. No way. Keir Starmer is useless. I'm sorry. I've got very, very low opinion of Keir Starmer. He is slightly better than Boris Johnson, but Keir Starmer is all Keir Starmer is diet conservative. It is an illusion of choice. Labour won't do this country much good. The Conservatives aren't doing this country much good. There's no real political choice. They've stacked the game so that no matter who you bet on, you will lose. An illusion of choice. And I think the only way around that is by getting independent candidates in that can vote with a conscience. Get people in that want to help, that want to improve the country, that want to improve the world, and can vote with their conscience, not because they've been told. They get whipped in. The political phrase is whipping in, and they whip people in to vote for the policies of the party which might not suit the residents of the person's area. And that is a massive part of the problem, because people need to have representation, that they've asked for, not just sort of like, Labour is going to be the lesser evil to Conservative or vice versa. We need more independent people in Parliament that can make a decision for the people that voted them, rather than the party that they're loyal to. So anything else, fella?
It's like I've written to my local MP about 3 times. She's Labour.
Yeah.
Not once have I ever had a response from her, other than when it's time to vote.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Before I started in my political career, not that it's really a career, but before I started in politics, I was already overwhelmed with problems. Literally, 100 messages a day, various problems, from parking tickets to eviction to people losing, their livelihoods, medical problems, you name it. Anyone that sort of like was desperate would get in touch with me, and I would always try and do my best. And the thing is, I looked at it and I went, you know what, I'm dealing with singular cases that I should really try and get into any position where I can have more of a voice, where I'm helping dozens of people at a time rather than singular people. It's backfired on me though, because I still try and help the singular people, the little people, but I've also now got loads of people. And I'll be honest with you, I've only had my emails. Malden District Council logged me out of my email account 2 months ago. So today is the first day that I've got back into my emails, and I've been asking for probably 2 months, can I get some emails? And they've been ignoring me. Now, I'm one of their councillors, and they don't even treat me with respect. And I know what it is. It's because they're like, well, the more emails you get, the more people you help. And I've been told unofficially that I shouldn't get involved in singular cases, that I should, that I'm a policy maker, and I shouldn't be getting involved in my residents, small cases. And I'm sorry, but if someone gets in touch with me and they need help with housing, they need help with this or help with that, I am going to help them. And I know that, for instance, Malden District Council hate it, that as a district councillor for them, if I think someone is vulnerable, I'll ring the bailiff on that person's behalf and tell them if I think they're vulnerable. And don't get me wrong, I won't be making it up. I've had a few people get in touch with me and say, can you get these bailiffs off me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, mate, but you possibly do need to pay that, and you aren't vulnerable. And I'm not going to lie for you. I'm not going to, I dislike bailiffs, but they have got a use. There are cases where bailiffs are needed. There are cases where traffic wardens are needed. I'm forever being asked, you know, about disabled bays and stuff like that. Oh, can you get me off this disabled bay ticket? And I'm like, why was you in the disabled bay? Did you forget your blue badge? No. Were you picking up someone that was disabled that had a blue badge? No. You know, and one case, the guy said that, well, my wife didn't want to get her hair wet. That was why she. And I'm like, mate, I'm sorry, but I ain't helping you. I ain't helping you. You know, that space might have been needed by someone that's disabled, and you know, you took the piss. I'm not going to help someone if they're on a swindle. You know, I can't always research every case that you know that I get. I've got a lot of take a lot of them at face value, but I can only do my best, and that's what I intend to do.
Yeah.
Anything else, fella?
I've learned a lot. I've been a subscriber of yours for a few years. And,
Thank you, mate.
You know, I've learned a lot from you, and I've even had my own bit of fun on the phones with Debt Collector, you know.
Yeah.
Just out there, clutching at straws to get something out of it, you know.
Losing the fear is the big thing, mate. Losing the fear.
Yeah.
And I always try and put a little bit of comedy in everything that I do, because something I do know for a fact, people learn and remember stuff a lot better if they laugh when they're learning and you know, if they're learning it. And if you can make something that little bit funny, people, you know, it finds a special part of your brain which, you know, you hold on to.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you know, if you can make things a little bit funny, I mean, you know, I love the phrase, and I can't even remember it. Something about nothing stands to laughter. You know, if you can make people laugh, if you can have a giggle with them, you know, it literally does build bridges. So trying to be a little bit laughy, jokey, and the problem I've got is I get a lot of people go, you're aggressive," and I'm like, I'm not trying to be aggressive. I actually want to get along with people, and I'd rather have a laugh with you, you know. And then they're like, right, no, but you're being sarcastic, and I'm like, okay, you're committed to misunderstanding me, because, you know, no matter what I try and do, you're going to say that I'm one way or the other, because you don't actually want to listen to me, and you don't actually want to take on board that, you know, you might be able to do things in a better way, or you might have done something like wrong, or could do something better. So yeah. No worries, mate. No worries. Next time I do one of these, could you please call back in? Great, mate. Great. I'm going to cut you off now, sir. It's been an absolute honour speaking to you, just in case I've got anyone else coming through. But thanks ever so much for calling in, and I'll speak to you later, sir. Thank you ever so much, mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye. What a lovely guy. What an absolute gentleman. Yeah, so let's have a look. Have I got any texts? Any more texts? Hang on. We've got something here. Yeah, that is me, but that's not the question I need to ask. Right, Chrissy, any advice for a friend struggling with council tax debts? I tried sending a Section 13A request, and they have ignored and won't acknowledge it. Thanks. I won't give the guy's name. Now, before I go into this one, I won't do a lot on this one, because this is going to be a subject that I'm going to be covering in detail in the not too distant future. Council tax, we do need to pay taxes. We do need to pay taxes. Something's got to pay for the hospitals, the police, the fire brigade, you know, blah, blah, blah. There are things that we need to you know, contribute towards, but it's the way it's all done. And without going into it too much, and I've got some people probably watching this right now that are jumping up and down going, go on, hit him with it. You know, it is in hand, and the council tax procedure is basically, as far as I can see it, completely unlawful. I'll go into that a lot later, but we do need to pay some sort of taxes, and it's about finding a revenue stream which isn't illegal, in my opinion, unlawful, illegal, and that is a lot fairer. Now, something that I love, that, you know, I would ask everyone to go and have a look at, is fairershare.co.uk. I think it's fairershare.co.uk, and basically it's about proportionate. And, you know, this is just off the top of my head, I'm not reading anything out. You've got people like Roman Abramovich, the guy that's got billions, I mean billions of pounds of property, and he is paying the same as someone that's got a 3-bedroom house in bloody Brixton, for instance. He pays like £3,000 a year in council tax, and so do people that are struggling that just happen to sort of like have a half decent house that they've worked hard for. Now, it needs to be more proportionate. I do believe that there are better ways to tax, and I would love, for instance, and this isn't anything that I can do at my level, because it's just, not anything I can do, but it doesn't stop me talking about it, and it doesn't stop people in, local government and even parish, and stuff like that. If more people spoke about it and made it more of an issue, then hopefully we'd get things changed, and change for the better. But we need a revenue stream, and having some sort of Robin Hood tax. And if you don't know what a Robin Hood tax is, have a look at that. That is basically I think less than a 0.03% Robin Hood tax would totally eradicate the need for council tax, and that way you wouldn't have the poorest people paying an exorbitant amount, out of whatever income they've got. And poor people work nowadays, guys. They're not just benefit scroungers and stuff like that. So don't be thinking that it's people that are lazy that don't work. Yeah, we've got a lot of working poor, and working. What I would like, and this is where I'm a bit of a lefty, I would like to bring the lower, the more poor people up, and the more rich people down, because once you get past a few million quid, you're never going to spend that money. You're literally holding it, and I do think that even if the richest people were asked to pay a little bit more in tax, they would still be the richest people. They would still have more money than they can spend. And I do understand that there are lazy people out there that want something for nothing. I don't want to support those people, but what I do want to make sure is that there is, no child in poverty. I'm quite a big poverty campaigner. I don't want anyone, any children, to sort of go to bed hungry, wake up hungry, and that is a reality. That actually is happening, and that is something that I'd like to stop. And it's somewhere we've got to start looking at, because currently the rich poor divide is getting bigger. There's more people dropping below that poverty line, and the richer people are piling on their wealth, and they're never going to spend it. So just like there is a minimum wage, I do actually believe there should be a maximum wage. I'm sorry, I do. I mean, you've got footballers getting 100 grand a week and stuff like that, when you've got nurses that are going to food banks. That grinds on me just a little bit. We should be looking after people a little bit better in this day and age. We don't need to have so many people so mega rich. It's but that's again a whole different one. So but the 13A request, I did a video on that one. That is something that excuse me, I've got an itch. That is something that the councils hate doing, because opens the floodgates and stuff like that. But it makes the councils very short of compassion. And I will be covering council tax with a few very intelligent friends of mine, quite sort of like quite diligently in the future. So watch this space about that one. Let's see what else we've got. From next week. I mean, I'm hoping to do these a little bit regularly. I'll hopefully get them every at least once a week, hopefully a couple of times a week. I'll be having guests on. I'll be covering all topical news stories, not just politics. Anything anyone really wants to talk about, as long as we can keep them nice and no abuse and stuff like that. So we've got the council tax one done. We've got that one is a bit rude. And thank you to the very nice, well, what I think is a lady, for the very explicit text message I got earlier. That was unexpected. I've done that one. I've done that one. There's that one. So a question that I'm getting asked quite a lot is, what was the point of order about? I'll do this one really quickly, because it's getting late. The point of order is what a member can say a point of order at any time in a meeting, and basically what it does is it stops the meeting. The meeting must stop. The chairman stops the meeting, not a member. No one else should call out. So, for instance, yeah, I'm a member. I say point of order. The chairman stops the meeting, even mid-sentence. You know, you're not even supposed to allow whoever's talking to continue talking once point of order is called. And once the point of order is called, the chairman must stop the meeting forthwith. And forthwith means immediately. It doesn't mean when he's ready. It doesn't mean he can ignore it. It means he must do it. Now, it's part 4, rules of procedure, brackets 14A, and that is in the Malden District Council Constitution. If you look at it, it will tell you. I won't bother reading it out to you because it's quite boring. But there's no discretion for the chairman to not hear. He cannot refuse it. He doesn't have a discretion to ignore it. Once it's called, he needs to deal with the point of order, and he would basically say, "What is your point of order?" Which he didn't do. He actually said that I asked him, are you refusing my point of order? And he said yes, which isn't in the Constitution. Like I said, Rule 4, rules of procedure, 14 in brackets. You can see it all there. You can read it all for yourself. Once he's accepted the point of order, he asked me what it is. Now, he didn't get to there because he refused it. He ignored it and he refused it. Now, if he had have asked me, I would have told him, but he didn't let me. And that is the problem. That's why the guy should resign. The guy's name's Mark Hurd. He is actually a good councillor. He's a good councillor, but he's a shit chairman. There are chairmen there that have been there for 2 years that are twice as good as that guy. Yeah, and my chairman at parish level, Richard, he is 10 times the chairman that Mark Hurd is. Mark Hurd is a good councillor because he does read his stuff. He does come up with some intelligent questions from time to time. He's got loads of experience. He's got very little imagination. The problem is he's institutionalized now, and you know he just cannot see that council is run because he's been in that council for so long, and they're all his personal mates now. You know, all his buddies. He just can't believe that they can make a mistake, or even worse, be corrupt. And some of the stuff that's been going on, which I'll detail later on, is practically awful. It's a lot of it is ineptitude, some of it's stupidity, but there's some corruption there as well. And for instance, the guy that approves the non-disclosure agreements that Malden District Council throw out like confetti at a wedding, they shouldn't be giving the non-disclosure agreements to the people that can get them on criminal charges. It's like, you know, me paying off someone that I'd committed a crime against. That's basically, as I understand it, what's happening. Now, I've been asking them to confirm, deny, and investigate these, and I've literally been ignored all the way through. Now, as a councillor at that council, I think that I should be allowed to know who we are paying off, how much we are paying off, and why. Because currently they're doing it all in my name. There's 31 district councillors at Malden. I'm one of them. So everything Malden District Council does is basically in my name. Even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, you know, I've got 31. I've got a 31th of those decisions that they're making. And if they're going to make decisions in my name, partly my name, I think I need to know what's going on. They're probably scared that I'm going to, expose something that I disagree with. But damn right I am, because ultimately the public have a right to know where their money's being spent. And when we are paying people to keep quiet about stuff that the people that have authorised the payment want kept quiet because it's criminal offences, you know, health and safety, criminal offences and stuff, that is when, you know, I think the public has a right to know. And Malden District Council, are just so antiquated, and you know, just that they literally think that they're a law to themselves. I mean, they stopped my emails for 2 months. I've only just got my emails back on, and thank you very much to the gentleman that sorted that. I won't mention your name just in case all the other councillors are watching this, spitting feathers, going, "What? He's helping them. He's helping them. The man's a goddamn good-looking animal," and various stuff like that. Guys, I'm absolutely knackered. We've been on for a whole hour. Keep an eye out. I'm not gonna set a certain date. I'll do these at 8 o'clock. I will hopefully have some guests. If more people want to ring in, I'll give you the phone number again. It's 0758 777 1617. If you've got any questions, if you don't want to talk, you know, on this live, not a problem. Text that number with your question at any time. 0758 777 1617. Text that number anytime. And hopefully I'll be able to read out your question. If you've got an idea for a topic, if you want to hear something, if you've got a guest that wants to come on, just let me know. Text that number, and the number will be open and taking calls whenever I start one of these lives. So if you want to chat to me, if you want to just phone in and give your opinion on something, please feel free. I'll let you know when I'm going on. It's going to be a bit higgledy-piggledy. But yeah, it's this is basically, you know, I'm not going to censor anyone. You don't have to give a name or anything like that. I won't suffer any hate speech. I won't suffer any abuse. You know, try and not swear if you can. If the occasional word slips out, then that's not a problem. And hopefully, you know, we can start talking about the stuff that the mainstream media and, you know, the government don't want us to be talking about as much. Saying that, I've got to be careful because you know, I don't want to keep on starting YouTube channels and stuff like that. So yeah, please phone in. Keep an eye out for when I'm next on. The number to call is 0758 777 1617. Text any questions to that number, and when we're live, please call in and have a chat with me and whoever my guests are at the time. Thank you very much for watching, and have a really nice weekend, guys. Thank you. How do I turn this off?